I just want to go ahead and say that I love The Last of Us, and it's one of my favorite story games ever. And despite the flaws that Part 2 has, it has its moments where it's also really good. The games are perfect. Good designs, great voice acting, great story, and nothing could ruin them. And then the TV show came out. I'm one of those people that thinks live action shows and movies are so unnecessary because something that's already perfectly animated has no reason to be remade and get a live action. I'll admit that sometimes live action does really well, like the Sonic movies, for example. Not only does it look good on the big screen, but they also did a completely new story that actually works for live action Sonic. This is just a rare case though. Most of the time, live action is terrible, and a couple of other examples are Dragon Ball Evolution and the live action Avatar The Last Airbender movie. Those movies suck so much, and they're complete garbage. Now let's talk about the live action Last of Us show. I'm gonna come right out and say it, they could have done way better at casting Ellie, and I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the argument that most people have because their tiny brains can't come up with anything else. Why do you want the teenage girl to look hot, you pedophile? No. Nobody's talking about how attractive she is, stupid. Also, Bella Ramsey is 21 years old, and Ellie in Part 2 is 19 years old. So if I did want to talk about how hot Ellie is in Part 2, I could, and none of you could stop me. But like I said, we're not talking about how attractive Ellie is in the live action show. What we are going to talk about, though, is how she doesn't fit the part at all. She looks nothing like Ellie. At all. And before you say that acting skills are more important than looks, you're wrong. For a live action show, you need both good acting and the looks for the part. I know so many others tried out for that part, and you're telling me there wasn't anyone who both acted good and looked the part? You guys that defend her as Ellie are delusional. To prove my point even more that attractiveness doesn't matter in this case, I was just as mad the very first time I did watch Dragon Ball Evolution. Goku didn't look accurate, Piccolo didn't look accurate, nobody looked accurate. This is why the Sonic movies are the only live action ones that I defend, because at least they made them look like the actual characters. And if you even think about trying to say, it's impossible to make actors that look accurate to video game characters, then I have an argument for that too. And it's, don't make the show then. The show's bad. The people who defend it are gaslighting themselves. Ellie looks nothing like Ellie and doesn't act anything like Ellie. The fans of this show stink. Rant over.